Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yumla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the head apostles of GMS and a salute to you Watkins that are tuning in. I'm the servant of bar to GMS Boston, and I'm coming back with a quick impromptu lesson based on an article in RT. Now, the article reads, Go home. Kamala Harris greeted in Guatemala by protesters as country's president blames U.S. for border crisis. So here we have your current first female vice president, of the United States, going over to, to these so-called Guatemalans, which the people of Guatemala are Israelites, okay? They're I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the tribe of Asher. I could be wrong, but bottom line is that they're Israelites, they're Jakes, okay? And it's a noted fact that a lot of the reasons, all right, why so-called Hispanics out there in these lands like Guatemala, Brazil, all South America are in the predicament that they're in is indeed because of the so-called white man. All right, indeed because of America. All right, America has been the one that, has been going about and stealing, robbing resources, doing that as it will. All right, and who's at the helm of America are so-called white people, right? The so-called white men. All right, so let's see here. It says Vice President Kamala Harris arrived in Guatemala on Monday, only to be received by protesters sporting pro-Donald Trump signage, blasting her. Kamala, mind your business, one sign read at the rally, visible to Harris' motorcade as she arrived to meet with President Alejandro Yamatei. The trip was Harris's first international one as vice president. Kamala, Trump won, read another sign. Okay, and it says here, other signs told the U.S. vice president to go home and stated that Guatemala is pro-life. Harris has been a frequent target of critics since she was put in charge of the crisis at the U.S.-Mexican border in March. Yamatei has blamed the U.S. for the influx of migrants, claiming the country has been sending too soft message. And this double here, Kamala Harris, she could give two shits about Jake, man. She could give two shits. All she is, she's looking, she's going over there in the interest of the elites, man. All right, to basically fulfill their will. It's not to help to alleviate the problems that are going on in Guatemala. Okay, why would you go to another country? All right, just to pretty much to talk shit. Bringing nothing to the table. Not bringing a solution. But that's America for you. Now I want to read something before I get into the scriptures. Let's see here. So Kamala, responding to Yamatei's accusation, Harris spokesperson Simone Sanders pointed to climate change and poor economies as causes of illegal immigration into the U.S. Harris mentioned climate adaptation and resilience as root causes of illegal immigration last month. No, the root causes is the so-called white man. All right. The root cause of this is the America. Okay, because America, pretty much is a leech on the world, man. It keeps sucking and sucking. Okay. And then America creates these conditions and these environments, that are impossible to live by. Real quick, the scriptures come to mind is Habakkuk 2:15 says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunk, and also that thou mayest look on their nakedness. If you look into things like the Maras, right? The Mara Salvatrucha, which is the MS-13 down there in Guatemala, this thing stemmed off of America, man. That was if you look into the history of it, it was a time when the country was pretty much in war. There was a lot of civil war happening in Central America, and a lot of them people came over here seeking refuge, you know, and that was strategic, you know, that was strategic by Esau, because Esau wanted to spread that poison of gang and all of this, because the Crips and the Bloods, you know, which are known American gangs, you know, that started here in America, you know, they were the ones that spearheaded, you know, this a lot of these gang banging, you know, and it was all because of the so-called white man. You know, they all started as a response to the abuse, all right, as a response to the pretty much the oppression that this man had on Jake, man, you know. And as the scriptures say in the book of Genesis 49, you know, it says that Judah, that thy brethren shall praise Judah, meaning, who's the brethren? Meaning that all the rest of the tribes were pretty much gonna follow suit after whatever Judah does, man, which the Judites are the so-called Negroes here in America. All right, they are the descendants of the tribe of Judah. All right, and all the other tribes, you know, Ephraim being the head tribe of the northern kingdom, you know, they were going to follow suit, meaning they were going to basically copy a lot of the traits of Judah, you know. So if you look into things like Tamara, you look into things like, you know, the root causes of poverty, you know, you can take a look at Venezuela. You know, America went in there, you know, and pretty much put a whole bunch of sanctions, you know, down with during the Chavez era, you know, because they wanted to steal the oil that was there. Man, Venezuela is rich in oil, was one of the leading nations of oil in OPEC. Okay, if you look into the OPEC, Venezuela was in there, man, along with these Arab nations. Okay, and this is the reason why they went into the Middle East, you know, if you want to dabble into that. But bottom line is that the root cause of all this shit is the so-called white man. You know, he's the one that steers up governments, sets up coups, you know, steals, and then say, you see, this is what they do. You know, this, you know, this is what the scriptures talk about here. You know, what woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, you know, that putteth the bottle to him, you know. You know, our people pretty much have been fed and have been given these lies, you know, of you know, pretty much of being kept in a pit, pretty much. You know, they've been given lies so that they can be kept in a system, in a pit, which the word system means pit. Okay, Jeremiah 51:7 says, let's see here. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Yeah, and these Guatemalans, like they said, were pro-life, because this devil here, Kamala Harris, you know, she's such a demon. She's very big into in these abortions, man. You know, and America wants basically to democratize Guatemala. You know, liberalism, you know, bring that wine, which that's what the wine the scriptures talk about here. That Babylon, right, that made the earth drunken, is talking about the philosophies, which the democracy, the liberalism, you know. So here you have this devil Kamala, right? You know, and this devil Kamala, you know, is known, you know, is a very known supporter of abortion. You know, she's right along with the new eugenics program. All right. And you know, according to his agenda, you know, the world population agenda, his new world order, you know, he wants to pretty much kill you so-called Hispanics. Okay. Because you are the children of the Heavenly Father. All right. And it goes back into the beef that we've had as nations. Okay. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands, right? And you know, these devils, they go over there with a mission, man. You know, they go over there with a mission, because she instead of pinpointing a problem, you know, why don't you pinpoint the solution to the problem? You know, she doesn't talk about You know, she doesn't talk about how can or why is truly immigration happening, right? She doesn't talk about how can they fix the root cause of it, right? Well, she mentioned poverty, climate adaptation and resilience as root causes. Really it is the state that they're in poverty, you know. But I say that to say this, that devil here does not give two shits about immigrants or you so-called Hispanics, man. You know, and same thing with the devil biting, man. You know, these internment camps with these children, they're still operational, from the Trump era. They still operational because they don't give two shits about you. Okay, this is the devil we're speaking of, which the word devil means deceiver. They talk the good game to get into office, which is what a normal politician does. And when they get in there is nothing more than to fulfill their agenda, or really the agenda of these elites, which ultimately is the agenda of the Heavenly Father, man, because he's the ones that sets up and puts down, man, at the end of the day. All right. So Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but woe was in his heart. His words were softer than oil where they drawn swords. And people are getting hip to this man's tricks. They're getting hip to his voice, how he comes. This devil Kamala Harris, right, being an envoy. She goes over there, pretty much in a soft tone, climate change and this, that, and the third. But the president, what was the president? Let me see what he said here. He said, we asked the United States government to send more of a clear message to prevent more people from leaving, he told CBS News on Sunday. The message changed to, we're going to reunite families. We're going to reunite children. The very next day, the Coyotes were here organizing groups of children to take them to the United States. So, the president of Guatemala, no longer trusts and, or I should say, doesn't fully support at all, the so-called white man's antics, man, because it's outdated. It's outdated. It's time for this man, to be fully revealed, man. It's time for these nations not to fall asleep under his enchantment, because the so-called white man, he's a witch, he's a witch. He with the way he talks, it puts an enchantment on people, man. If you see a TED talk of, say, a guy like Billy Yates, right? You see him talking, and literally this man is talking about mass genocide. Okay, mass genocide, but he did it so subtly that a lot of people just didn't even pay attention to it, and they clapped. A lot of people just clapped. When he talked about if we do a good job at vaccinations, we can reduce the P, which was his stupid equation for solving climate change. All right. But this is the devil we're talking about, man. This is why we say the so-called white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. No question about it. All right. Revelations 6 and 8. This is let me see, King James. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the field. Okay, and that's the so-called white man all day. He is death. Scriptures say in the book of Revelation that anywhere he goes, death follows. And it also mentions here that he kills with famine, with plagues. You see, in Guatemala is very known for being a famished country. For being a country that people are walking naked, bare naked, desolate, and that's the state of most of these Latin American countries, man. You take a look at Brazil, you got these favelas over there, where people don't have a pot to piss in, man. You got I witnessed some of that firsthand, man, when I was in my country in DR, man. Even in DR, there's parts where the kids are walking naked in the streets. The houses are made out of pretty much tin, tin can, you know, and and it's all the fault of the people that are running this earth, man. There's a problem with the distribution of wealth. There's a problem with the distribution of resources, because this man, heapeth unto him all things. Let me get that real quick. Enlarges. As hell. Let me see here. Yeah, Habakkuk 2:5 says, yeah, also because he transgressed it by one. There's that one again that I mentioned, which is that philosophy, right? That democracy. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Yeah, Kamala, keep your ass at home. Them people from Guatemala are telling you that they don't want you over there, man. Keep mind your business. But we know for a fact that, Sleazy E ain't gonna mind his business. It says, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. And that word there is the grave. Goes back to the grave, because the grave can always receive a body. So it's insatiable. It doesn't. There's no contentment with the so-called white man. And it says death and cannot be satisfied. See that? But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, and everybody got a model, after America. Everybody got to pretty much have a democracy. If not, then we're going to go over there and we're going to establish a democracy, even if the people don't want it. You see? But with democracy comes what? McDonald's, Burger Kings, women's lib, abortions, all kinds of shit that is just detrimental to life. This is why they said this. They say we are pro-life. Look, let me see here. It says other signs told the U.S. vice president go home and stated Guatemala is pro-life. You see that? Because they know that the vices of Esau is death, man. Is death. It's evident. Sometimes they don't even have to read the scriptures in over there, to understand that the ways of this man is death because of his works. His works is evident, man. His works is evident, and his enchantment ain't working anymore. His enchantment ain't working anymore. The Lord said that he will reveal this man, he will lift up the skirts, showing his true horns, his shame. That man of sin be revealed, meaning what? Meaning Esau is that man of perdition, and everybody is beholding, his sins. You see, everybody's beholding his sins. This devil right here, she's just gonna bring forth what? Death, eugenics, you name it, man. You name it. Instead of bringing solutions, she's bringing forth more problems. Okay, but the Lord's gonna set up, a profitable servant in due time, man. A profitable nation that's gonna profit the earth, which is the nation of Israel. And the governing body along with our Lord Yahweh Shai. At the end of the day, that's when we're gonna see peace. But peace, there won't be no peace on this planet until this man is taken down. Okay, so hopefully this was edifying. This was just a quick, brief lesson. To edify the sheep, the flock. So with that, I'm gonna say, Kal Halal Yamla Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakak Again, double honors to the head apostles of GMS. A salute to you, walkers that tune in. Shalom.